Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Coe Show. My name is Mason Coe, and I am here as always with my co-host Aaron Coe.
Hello.
And welcome back to Seahawk Talk number 2. Another very exciting Sunday, but we're 2-0, and
2-0, motherfuckers.
that's really all that matters.
Right.
So yeah, I mean it was obviously a great game. Bill Belichick, Cam Newton, and company coming to town. Not the usual atmosphere, obviously,
Yeah,
but a win's a win.
we'll take it.
And I don't have too many complaints. Typically I harp really bad on Shoddy and his play calling, except last week I thought he did a really good job. And I'm pleased to say they let Russ cook again.
A little much in one spot.
Yeah,
maybe.
I was calling for a shot on that play where he overthrew it, and we had to punt away to Cam Newton at the end there. Again, a win's a win, but I digress. Yeah, I think there was only two or three plays where I really had some questions. I think there was a 1st and 20, a second and 20, and like a 3rd and 15, something like that they ran, and I really didn't like those. But other than that, I think Shoddy called a great game. I hope Shoddy stays in the booth for the rest of his career.
It seems good, and man, sometimes I don't get the whole let Russ cook movement. Like I hear, oh gosh, we only ran the ball 3 yards there, but I don't, why the hell did he call a running play? But why don't I hear, oh, we took a sack. What the hell was he doing calling a passing play? It seems like it's very one-sided.
It's not about the outcome, it's about the philosophy.
But you can't just say that sacks don't count and incomplete passes
they're saying
don't count.
They're saying it's worth the risk. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's worth the risk to pass more than you run.
Okay. I'll always say you got to mix it up, and you can't be obvious.
I'm not fully.
It ain't Madden.
There's there's some guys on Twitter that just want to pass every single play. I'm not in that crowd, but for the most part, I mean,
those people probably played Madden football and called the same goddamn pass play every time, and it worked because it's a fucking computer, and there's not coaches on the other side who will adjust to what you're calling. Like it's not that simple.
I think you're generalizing their opinions a little. I don't think they're just saying there are a couple, but let Russ cook is about like throwing on early downs more.
Yeah, and I'm with that.
And I'm with that. And people are happy with where it's at right now.
Yeah.
People are, because I think we're top 3 or 4 on throwing on early downs through the first 2 games, and that's. People aren't saying throw the ball every single time. They just want to be more aggressive with Russ early, and we're getting that.
So yeah, I'm with that. I mean, I definitely would like to see. I like what I'm seeing now with some more passes on first down, and I like that they go to tempo.
Yeah.
A little bit more often than they had in the past because that seems effective quite often. So yeah, if that's what letting Russ cook is, then I'm mostly okay with that.
Cool.
But you always have to mix up what you call.
For sure.
On every down.
For sure.
Otherwise, you get predictable. And if you're predictable, you're not going to make first downs.
Right. On the defensive side of the ball, at times looked pretty good, but at times it was really, really rough. And there's worry that Bruce Irvin tore his ACL.
Yeah.
So another pass rusher down.
It's weird because he tweeted last night, "I'm fine, 12s," and then today the reports are out that he tore it. So I guess we'll have to wait and see.
I mean, there are some names out there. I guess there's Clay Matthews. I'm pretty sure Terrell Suggs is done, but his name has come up, and there's a couple others I can't remember. But it seems like we need some help with the pass rush really badly.
Yeah.
Which was the scare at the beginning of the season. We all knew this was coming.
Nothing's changed.
And with the secondary, I think, Quentin Dunbar, there was a few times where he looked not very good. But then he comes out, almost gets that one pick. And for the second half, I feel like he played pretty well. The first few drives, he got cooked there a little. And then obviously he came up with that big pick. So
he looked early in the game. It looked like he was playing scared. He was playing way off. He didn't want to get beat deep. As the game went along, it seemed like he got a little bit more aggressive. He almost had a pick, and then he did pick off another one. Made some plays.
And they were both good plays. Even the one he dropped was a good play.
Yeah. So it was good to see him get more aggressive and more comfortable. Adams was a little shaky in coverage.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they let Edelman, and that was on Adams quite often. Now some of that was probably, you had your secondary had a different look than you wanted it to. You didn't plan, with Diggs being out and then Blair going out. Diggs will be back. He, rightfully so, got thrown out of the game for helmet to helmet. He'll be back, and I think that'll make Adams' job a little bit easier. But he looked a little shaky, and that was the book on him before. That's nothing new. He's not a great cover guy.
Yeah, I mean, he only has one pick, so
yeah. He's a smart. He sniffs things out. But yeah, you don't want him covering the post too often. He's looking to hit somebody, and that's not his game. But yeah, he needs to play a little bit better than he did. There's definitely concerns that the pass rush being number one. I don't know what they can do to fix it other than try to scheme some things. I think the secondary will continue to get better as those guys play together some more. So there's hope there. But yeah, it is a concern. I mean, they're gonna, you bet Russ is gonna have to cook a lot because they're gonna have to outscore teams. I think they're not,
it's nothing new since about 2016. So
I thought the run defense looked good. I think the Patriots only, I think they had less than 100 yards, and most of that was Cam.
Yeah.
So they have looked good against the run, which was one of their big issues last year. So
I mean, Jamal Adams is everywhere on the run.
Oh yeah.
There was one play where he went all the way around the line of scrimmage and caught up to Cam.
Yeah.
Touchdown saving play that was incredible. I can't remember the exact scenario that was in, like the exact time of the game that happened. I think I wrote it down, but it was he's all over the place, and then sometimes there'll be a guy wide open and you'll see Jamal Adams just catching up to him and tackling him, where it's like, clearly you're more athletic, and it's like I don't know if he's playing a little too aggressive or what, but I mean, I still obviously absolutely love him.
Yeah.
He's
overall
incredible.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the first drive of the second half, I believe, for the Pats, Cam was cooking on that drive. I wrote that down. And Jamal had a great sack to force a field goal. It was kind of a sack. Cam was kind of scrambling out, and it looked like he was going to start running. But he tackled him behind the line of scrimmage.
Sack for 0 yards,
yeah,
I believe.
Pretty much, yeah.
That was the only sack of the game for the
Hawks. So yeah, but forced a field goal, which obviously ended up being huge because, if they score a touchdown there, then they could have kicked a field goal at the end of the game, and then they would have just won. So, yeah, and then I guess, maybe let's take it a little bit more linearly.
Sounds good.
Through the game. So, obviously, off the bat, fucking Greg Olsen. Come on.
Good Lord.
Jesus.
When I saw it live, I'm like, was it thrown a little bit behind him? No, it was
a dime.
I mean, anybody who's played flag football, that's where you want the football. You want it right at your eyeballs. Like if if you're playing darts, that was a bullseye. And for him to just let that go off his hands, he had a terrible game. He had a false start at a key time. He had a false start last week also. He's got to pull his head out of his ass. I don't know if he's already in the broadcast booth or what, but they need him to be a contributor in the passing game. But what a horrible way to start the game.
I mean, not a good feeling right off the bat. Just felt like everything was going to go wrong after that. But Greg Olsen, you were brought on to kind of teach the young guys, and the whole thing was, okay, he's not going to have a bunch of penalties, and he's not going to drop passes. Yeah. Like, that was kind of the whole point of getting him.
Yeah.
So to see him do both of those and have them both really cost us, it makes it a little scary. Maybe I just want Disley out there, just more. I don't know. So yeah. I moving past that though, we had a Lockett blocking the back call that was questionable. I was scared early. We were running on first down with Carlos Hyde. I didn't know why, and then We ended up driving down the field though. Russ cooked that drive when he got his opportunities, and then he had a really nice scramble and just threw a seed to at the back of the end zone to Tyler Lockett. Just an incredible throw. Yeah. Only one that Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers could make. Probably.
Right. If Patty Mahomes makes that throw next week, we'll hear that. Oh, he's the only one that can make that throw. Yeah. That was a great throw. Second baseman, across his body. It's hard too because, again, even if you've just played flag football, if you're running to your right and the receiver is running the opposite direction. Yeah, that's a tough throw to make because you have to. First of all, you have to drill it in there because you don't know who's coming from the other side, and then the timing on that is tricky because you're going one way, they're going the other way, and for him just to drill it in there and hit it perfectly, that was one hell of a throw, and it to me that was the best throw he made in the game. Honestly, it won't get the most attention, but it was outstanding.
He made so many incredible throws just on top of having great numbers. So Patriots drive 1. This is where we leave. This is where we see Dunbar leaving guys open for first downs a couple times. Yeah. Just like comeback routes that. I think both of them were comeback routes that he was just sagging way too far off. Like you said, playing a little scared. And I wrote down bad run D. I'm pretty sure they were running all over us early. And then that's when Quandre Diggs laid the boom on that guy and deservedly got kicked out. I saw people saying that he shouldn't get kicked out. They put the rule in that they could start kicking guys out. And it's like, if that rule is there, what other hit are you going to kick a guy out on?
That's the definition.
Yeah, I mean, there was no real excuse.
You show that in the instructional video about what not to do.
Yeah.
I'm old school. Sometimes I think the game has gotten too soft, but I don't believe you should lead with your helmet and hit another player in their helmet.
No. And that goes for offensive players too, and they don't ever get called for it. But that was not an excuse that Quandre could have used there.
No, and the offensive player, sometimes you see them drop their helmet and the
Marshawn Lynch. I mean, that's all he did was use his head.
The defensive player then is already dropping down to try to go low. And they meet, but this was not like that. He just flat out went at him with his head.
Yeah.
There's just no place. There's too many guys with fucking brain damage and committing suicide. Like we don't need those hits in the game.
Yeah.
So he'll be back though. He'll learn from it.
He will.
He's a good player.
Yep.
So we'll welcome him back
for sure. Moving on, we have a lot of false starts, kind of plaguing us towards the middle of the first half there. And
Seahawks
then
third drive, I think that was.
Yeah, third drive, and we were running a lot is what I said.
Yeah.
And then but the fourth drive, that's when we saw DK absolutely torch Stephon Gilmore.
Defensive player of the year last year.
Yeah, who, by the way, let's just talk about that whole thing now. They were going at it all game. Man. DK was choking him at one point. Like, he legit
took it into the, not the stands, but the sideline.
Where
all the players were. And
the bench,
like it was going to get really ugly for a minute.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll was in there.
Yeah, seriously.
Ready to break it up at 69 years old.
Yeah. It was...
I love it.
It was great. And by the way, I forget who tweeted this, but it is notable that the two people that he's really gone after this year, Jalen Ramsey or not this year, but overall, the two people he's really gone at, Jalen Ramsey and Stephon Gilmore. That's notable. Those are supposedly the two best cornerbacks in the league. He's a star. He's a star.
He's there. He's still. I want to see him make some more tough catches up high. I think he had one he could have caught in the game. He won't get. I don't think they'll call that a drop, but it hit the tops.
Was that the one where he Stephon Gilmore shoved him out of bounds in midair?
I think
it was on the sideline.
Yeah, but those are the kind of catches that I'd like to see him start to make. But overall, Belichick obviously decided I need to put my best defensive player on him. He was on him the whole game. He followed him around the whole game. And, he still had 4 catches for 92 yards. And
made him look like a bitch on his touchdown.
Oh, he just, get off me. To use an old Marshawn Lynch highlight, get off me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Great to see. He's showing the different parts of the game that people said he couldn't play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, great things ahead for him. And I love some attitude. You want your receiver needs to be a little bit of a psycho.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
For
the way
sure.
it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let Tyler Lockett be the nice guy.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. So, Patriots drive 2. Looks like we got Dunbar dropping the pick, and then we forced a 3-and-out. It was good. On that third down though, Patriots run a QB draw on 3rd and 10, and that was kind of a pattern for a little bit there. They were running a lot on down and distance.
It's really weird if you look at Cam Newton's stat line. He threw for 397 yards, but they did not trust him to throw the ball on 3rd down.
No, it doesn't indicate what it felt like their game plan was.
Yeah.
Every time there was a big play, he was running or he was handing it off.
Right.
So
yeah. Amadi made a nice tackle. He struggled a little bit early. He's coming in for Blair, who again probably out for the season.
Mm-hmm.
So we need Amadi. I heard a lot about why isn't Amadi playing last year? Why isn't he playing? Why isn't he playing? And early on, I'm like, I can see why he's not playing.
Yeah.
But he did start to get comfortable and come through, so that's a good sign.
For sure. Yeah, so we also got, I just kept writing down Greg Olsen sucks. Yeah, so in the second half, honestly, I didn't take very thorough notes, but what I do have is, once again, Jamal Adams, getting that sack to force the field goal, but he also did get toasted by Edelman a couple times, and I think Edelman had 8 for a $1.67 or something.
Yeah.
So it's unacceptable.
It's hard to know exactly what Adams' responsibility was, but he definitely got beat a couple times.
Bill Belichick obviously has his way of minimizing your best players.
Yeah.
But it felt like not only was he minimized, it felt like he was attacked at certain points through the air, which is concerning because usually Bill will just play to your weaknesses and play to his strengths. They wouldn't even touch Jamal Adams. But there was a couple times where he was, once again, like I said, he was late and catching up to a guy and tackling him.
Well, I think Belichick, Adams played for the Jets last year, so Belichick saw him twice a year.
Yeah.
For the last couple of years, so he knows him, and I think, he's an aggressive player. So I think they, on occasion, use that aggressiveness against him with, with not double moves necessarily, but just making it look like a short play and then breaking it down the seam, so that. He knows, Belichick's going to find your weakness and expose it, and he did that a few times in that game for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then, obviously, we got... this is where DK and Stephon Gilmore, this is around where they really got into it. And then David Moore. Russ just heaving one up there. Yeah. And David Moore, I don't know how he got his feet in. I don't know how he caught that, especially because it's David Moore. But I mean, it was an incredible play. I think that was Russ's 4th touchdown and 4th touchdown and 4th incredible ball. So it was awesome.
And that had a 6.3 catch probability, which is the same thing as the ridiculous play to Lockett last year. Exactly the same percentage. Of
I think Lockett's was more ridiculous.
I do too.
I think it's probably though because Lockett had his feet down and then got him up and put him back down again.
Yeah.
I think that little tidbit, I don't know if they count that in catch probability, but
it was incredible. I mean, just, Russ put that, there's only one place that ball could go, and that's where it went.
Yeah.
And then Moore, his foot, he gets one foot down, his second foot, as he's kind of pirouetting, scrapes the pylon. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he could see or if he was just aware of when his foot hit that pylon that he needed to come back in a little bit.
But yeah, his leg swung out.
It swung out over out of bounds and then landed, a couple millimeters inbound. So
insane.
Outstanding play by both of them.
For sure.
Yeah, so that was huge.
Yeah, and then Russ's last TD was the one to Swain. I missed that one. I was in the bathroom for that. So you describe.
Yeah, that one. So that one was shoddy to me. And I don't mean shoddy like that was shoddy play. No, it was that was Schottenheimer. Great scheme. They hid Lockett in the backfield. He was lined up at tailback for that play.
Nice.
And Swain kind of wraps around from going right to left, and there was just nobody there. I mean, that was, a walk in, like just pitch
that's
and
right.
catch.
Yeah. I saw that.
Very, just great scheming by Schottenheimer on that play. One of the easiest touchdowns you'll have.
Boost shoddy, baby.
Yeah.
Boost shoddy.
Great play.
Let's go.
Yep.
All right. Well, other than that, I mean, obviously, to the going for the deep shot on 3rd and short from your own, what was it, 30, 35?
Yeah.
And Russ overthrew it a little. So then you got a punt with 1:30 left. They got 2 timeouts, Cam Newton, Bill Belichick. Let's see what happens. And at first I thought I was confident at the beginning of the drive, but as they kept getting closer, I just felt that confidence going away. And then when they got to the 1-yard line, we both thought we were just done.
Yeah, I thought it was over. And just let me rewind a little bit and go back to that 3rd and 1 play.
Yeah.
And I was pissed that they threw the ball deep on 3rd and 1 because you don't give the ball to Marshawn on the goal line. You let Russ cook there, and he throws a pick.
Yeah.
That's another one of those let Russ cook things that we forget about. But what I will say is that apparently that was Russ's 3rd option on that play.
Oh, okay.
You had David Moore on a slant, and apparently he didn't get a great release and didn't win that, and Russ didn't feel comfortable.
Snap was bad, and it looked like when the snap was bad, I thought his eyes were on was it to DK?
He may have looked at Moore. I'm not sure.
It looked like his eyes went almost directly to that go route.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was the bad snap that threw him off. I don't know if he got a little giddy. I don't know. And maybe I just missed it. Maybe he did look at all his options. But
and you had I think it was Carson in the flat but he was not open either.
Oh, okay.
So going deep was his 3rd option, and that's probably not what anyone wanted there necessarily, especially when it was that tightly covered.
Yeah.
So anyway, I just had to mention that I was upset about it at the time, but with that knowledge that wasn't supposed to be the play, okay, I kind of get it. And that would have been one hell of a kill shot.
Yeah.
Had they hit it.
Like the Eagles game in the playoffs.
Yeah. But they didn't. So
nope.
Then to go back to where we were, so they just kind of drive down the field, and
they looked calm the whole time. Cam was just walking back up to the line. Not like he was moving slow, but he was calm the whole time. Looked like he was in control. He looked good.
Yeah,
he looked good.
He did. He looked he hit some passes. I mean, he was inaccurate a few times, but overall,
I thought he finally say you were wrong about Cam?
No, because he's gonna get hurt.
All right.
So he's playing well, but he's run the ball 26 times in 2 games. He's not gonna last.
All right.
He's gonna get hurt, but he did look really good. I think a better defensive effort, and it doesn't look quite that good. Plus, they scored 30 points. 7 of those were on a pick 6, so they scored 23 points. It's not like they lit up the scoreboard with their offense. But anyway, when he got down to the 1-yard line, I'm like, there's no way, there's no way we're going to stop this. I think it was great. One great thing was, so early in the game, New England scored a play, and it looked like an old Wildcat play almost, where you run the Wildcat 10 times in a row, and eventually you do the little jump pass with the tailback. So he did that. Basically, he took a couple steps and hit a fullback who was wide open. We should all be thankful that they burnt that play early.
Thank God.
Talk about selling out for the run.
Yeah.
If they had thrown a pass there, they might have scored. But I think Josh McDaniel was a little bit hesitant to try that again.
Interesting.
Since they'd burned it earlier. So I really felt like the game was over. I'm not usually super negative, but I'm like, how are we gonna stop this beast from 1 yard out?
You know how? Lano fucking Hill and LJ fucking Collier, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, was I the only one that predicted they would win the game for us?
Lano goes and chops the fullback and gets a piece of Cam, and then LJ just went and flipped him, went low and flipped him. Great tackle. And he said that it was a huge confidence boost for him, and it's only up from here. And I've given LJ Collier more than his fair share of shit, both on and off this podcast, I think.
Yeah, when you're a healthy scratch for almost every game.
Yeah.
When you're a first-round pick.
But obviously, I would love to see him succeed.
Course.
Not only would it be good for our team, but it would be incredible to see. I would love for that take to be shitty for me because I was trashing LJ Collier. I would love for that to be a freezing cold take. I would love nothing more.
Definitely.
I'm rooting for him, and it's not. I never had like a personal vendetta against him or anything.
No, it just seemed like a bad pick, and it's still he made a good play. He made one good play in the last game. Now let's
move
keep
forward.
It up.
Yeah.
Let's see some more.
Yeah. So but I mean, it was great by them. Lano Hill stepping up when Marquise Blair looks like might be out for the season.
Yeah.
And obviously Diggs was out for essentially the whole game. So I think overall, when you consider all that, I don't think the defense they didn't have the worst game they could,
Right. They did pretty well against the run. They allowed a few too many deep passes, and we just have to hope that with Diggs back and some more familiarity with each other, that they'll patch some of that up. Pass rush ain't gonna happen this year.
Nah.
So we're gonna have to get around that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back to that play from the one, Cam Newton is deadly in short yardage situations, still is. But he'll get the ball and he's patient.
Yeah.
You won't
he
see
looked
him
like
catch it
Le'Veon
and
Bell
run.
in that game.
Yeah. He does that all the time, so he'll take a couple of slow steps, look for the hole and hit it, and then you cannot stop him unless you square him up and get a direct shot. You're not going to hit him from the side and slow him down. So what happened there was, first of all, Bobby did his job. He blew up the middle. Lano Hill comes in, blows up the fullback, and Collier came and cleaned it up. But it was really if you watch the play, it was the whole team closing every hole. He had nowhere to go. And he just kind of ran right into LJ Collier, who finished it. So
it looked like
just a great play by the whole defense.
For sure. It looked like he may have been able to bounce it to the outside, and score. I don't know. The thing is, it might have been too late. When you look at the screenshot, it looks like he can, but it might have been too late because by the time he was going forward, Lano chopped the fullback, and so there was already he was already in the mix there, kind of with that. So I don't know if he would have had time to cut it to the outside, but LJ for sure wouldn't have cut him like that if he tried. So who knows? But we will never know. Thankfully.
And Bill Belichick was asked after the game because he could have saved some time with a timeout earlier, didn't call it, and. Boy, I'm glad I didn't have to see another play from the line because I don't know that we're stopping that twice. So, thankfully they ran out of time before they could get another crack at it. But I think on the last play of the game like that, if you're Cam Newton, you're probably not gonna bounce it outside because you're thinking I just gotta force my way.
Yeah.
And this is the last chance. Like you can't take a chance running it outside.
Mm-hmm. When you're the biggest guy on the field.
Yeah. So, but hey, it was again, they won the game. The punter did a great job. Had a couple of big punts, dropped all four of them inside the 20-yard line.
Yep.
Had a 63-yarder. So there were a lot of good things in the game. Russ, I think I'm hearing there's chatter about him already for MVP.
Chatter. I mean,
yeah.
As of week 2.
Nationwide.
Yeah. I mean it was a great week. It was a great Sunday.
Yeah.
We'll talk a lot more about this on Wednesday, But we had another very exciting game that we watched directly before that. That came down to the wire in the Lakers versus the Nuggets.
Yeah,
So it was a great day of sports. But
for sure.
I
So
guess
what do you think about? Go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say I guess should we move on to what we're thinking about next week? Or?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay,
I was
yeah.
gonna say, what do you think about the Cowboys matchup?
Yeah. So obviously, last week was, or I guess it was just yesterday. Yesterday was very interesting for the Cowboys.
Oh boy, yeah.
They were down big and down late, and they somehow managed to come back. Dan Quinn, man, rough first 2 weeks. Obviously
Yeah.
playing great offenses, but I think if we play as well as we did the last 2 weeks, I think we'll win by 10.
Yeah. I can see that.
I don't think we. The thing is, though, I feel like we could end up doing what the Falcons did too. That's the problem.
Possibly.
Because that's the whole thing is the Falcons' defense shit the bed. I could so easily see us shitting the bed. Cowboys have a great offensive line. Zeke's going to be probably running all over us. And, if we don't have top-tier play from our defensive backs,
It's gonna be interesting. I'll say this right now. If you're going to a sports book, take the over. I don't know what the over is, but whatever it is, they're gonna go over that. That game's gonna be. I could see both teams going into the 40s for sure.
For sure, yeah.
What did you think of the Falcons? Dallas's onside kick by Greg the Leg.
So obviously it was a very odd one, and it was incredibly executed by Greg. But what are you doing not diving on it?
Yeah.
I mean, when there's 3 yards left and it's still going that direction, there's no excuse but to dive on it.
Yeah.
So
Looked like they were mesmerized.
yeah.
Holmgren said, I heard Holmgren on KJR this morning, and he said, I mean, it was kind of tongue in cheek, but he said the special teams coach would have been fired before they got back to the locker room if that happened.
Yeah.
It looked like they looked like the team that thought it had to go 10 yards before they could touch it. Mm-hmm. It's only the kicking team that can't touch it for 10 yards. So they let it. It took a long time. The way that ball was spinning, it was crazy. It took a long time to get there. It was a terrible play by the Falcons. That's, I don't know how you let that happen.
That and also being up 15 with 5 minutes left,
Ugh.
and also being up 20-something in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It's, rough.
Yeah. But, the Cowboys have some weapons. I think, I think they're overrated again, like they usually are.
Mm-hmm.
I think people thought Jason Garrett was the problem.
Yeah.
There's more than that.
Yeah.
They have some stars, but I don't know, their depth is not great. Their defense is not great. I think Zeke's going to get some yards, but I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think the Seahawks have been good against the run.
Yeah.
I think they'll keep him somewhat in check, but yeah, it's going to be the passing game, and it's the lack of pass rush that's gonna keep us on the edge of our seats. I think
For
so
sure.
We'll see what happens there. I do think the Seahawks will win. I hate to sound like I'm predicting win every week, which I might. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think they're a better team than the Cowboys. I think the offense just has a little bit more. I like Russ better than Dak. I think Dak is a good quarterback, but I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback like Russ is. So I think that'll be the difference in the game.
Yeah. So the odds, by the way, they are giving the Seahawks 4.5. I would take the Cowboys on that.
Yeah, that's not a bet that I would make because I just don't like that number. But I think it's going to be, I'd be nervous about putting my money on the Seahawks to cover 4.5. They'll probably win by a field goal.
By the way, I'm pretty sure the line was 4.5. I think might have been 4.5 this week too. Right. It was a very, very good call by Vegas this week. Also the money lines are plus 160, minus 185 straight up.
Right.
So
Do they have a total? Do they have
yeah,
a total number?
yeah. So the total is 49.5.
Oh my god.
Definitely take the
Are
over.
you kidding
if
me?
I could,
There might be one team that covers that.
if I could bet, if I could legally bet online, I would
Oh my
put,
gosh.
I would put my savings on that.
Watch that number go up.
Yeah. Oh, it will.
Bet it today
100%.
because it's gonna be 55 tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah. Once, because I mean, it'll probably be tomorrow or Wednesday when gambling shows start putting out their picks and stuff, and yeah, that'll shoot up in no time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna cover the rest of the NFL on the show on Wednesday because with it being the conference finals in the NBA, there's not a ton of basketball to cover. So yeah,
we'll break down. We'll get out the headstones and break down all the dead players from. Oh my gosh, the carnage!
Seriously,
that happened.
Insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully we get good news from Bruce Irvin and Marquise Blair. It's not looking great, but yeah, this week was just so insane with injuries.
Yeah,
it was nuts.
I've never seen anything like it.
Christian McCaffrey and Cortland Sutton for me on fantasy, pretty rough.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. You got anything else about this last game or the next one?
No, I don't think so. I think we have covered it. Let me just one little look through my notes here. No, I think that's it. One other thing, I just going back to Shoddy that I wanted to mention.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're doing a really good job of using all of their weapons.
Yeah. Everyone's getting targets and stuff and reps. It's good.
I think he's more creative than he's been. I think
the booth has had a really positive impact on him, and he said it has even.
And so. I think Pete reflected on the season and said, we're not the type of team. I can't just play my cover 2,
mm-hmm.
And play our zones. We don't have that type of defense. We have a diverse offense and top 3 quarterback in the league, if not the best quarterback in the league. We have DK Metcalf. We have a lot of other weapons. I think he really reflected. So I think Pete deserves some credit for switching things up and realizing that, okay, this is not 2013. We gotta change a few things. So I think that's been very encouraging, and hopefully he keeps that up.
I did not think. I mean, obviously, it's not too late for him to go back to his old ways. Right. I did not think this would happen at all. Yeah. And on top of that, when Russ, obviously it wasn't his fault, when that pick happened in the first quarter and we started to run a little more and saw some success with it, I was like, oh my God, there's the excuse. Like, he just got his excuse to just go back to what he did last year. But I am very happy to say that, he's stuck with what's working. So,
yes,
which is Russ.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, if you're still listening or watching, shout out to you. You're dope.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got a new episode of just the main Coe Show coming out on Wednesday. We'll be talking NBA playoffs this past week in the NFL. We got our Stooge not Stooge. I keep saying that. Clown of the week. We got Lock of the week, Player of the week, all that good stuff. And yeah, you got anything?
No, I think we have covered it.
Cool.
Go Hawks.
Yeah, go Hawks. See ya.